Welcome to Swish Tell, the show that recaps some of the stories you might have missed on the peachbasket.net. All right, let's dig into Mark Williams and this wild turn of events. The guy was practically out the door, with the trade to the Lakers falling apart and Yusuf Nurkic stepping in. And now, he's thrown back into the Hornets starting lineup, scoring 10 points, grabbing 9 boards, and helping upset the Lakers 100-97. It's like something straight out of an NBA comeback storybook.
Man, that's the league for you. 1 minute you're packing your bags, right? And the next you're putting up numbers in crunch time minutes. It's wild, but Jose, let me ask you, does this say more about Williams or the state of the Hornets right now?
Great question. I think it speaks volumes about both. Let's start with Williams. When you're talking about a 23-year-old center with his athleticism and potential, there's always going to be room for a turnaround, even after so many setbacks. The injuries definitely cast a shadow, though. I mean, over 330 days missed in 3 seasons, Marcus. That's an ominous sign if you're building long-term plans.
Yeah, but this is where I gotta jump in because, look, injuries suck. We all know that. But players have bounced back before. Remember Derrick Rose? Different situation, sure. But people wrote him off after, the second ACL tear? And dude's still finding ways to contribute. It's the fight in the player. And from what I've seen, Mark Williams has that fight. He just needs to stay healthy long enough to show it.
Valid point, Marcus. But here's the flip side. The Hornets, look at their situation. They're, 8 games out of the play-in? It's not exactly a hopeful outlook. This sudden return puts them in a tight spot. Do they gamble on Williams staying healthy or focus on extracting value through a trade?
Man, I think the real gamble is giving up early. These last 28 games, those are Williams' playoffs. He's playing for his Hornets' future, maybe even his career trajectory. You saw that crazy game he had against the Wizards, 21 points, 25 rebounds, 15 offensive boards. I mean, those numbers are historic.
True, but consistency is key, right? A flash of brilliance doesn't outweigh the looming risk of injury. And if I'm the Hornets front office, I'm looking at this next stretch as a make-or-break moment for him. If his performance picks up and stays steady, maybe his trade value recovers or, they decide to reinvest in his potential.
Exactly. And let me just say this. We've seen this story before. The guy finds consistency, stays on the court, and suddenly the narrative flips. I mean, players get tagged as injury-prone way too fast these days. But heck, the league's full of late bloomers, comeback kings, whatever you want to call it.
That's a fair take. At the end of the day, though, this decision will probably come down to what the team values more, potential or immediate assets. The Hornets are in a precarious rebuild, and Williams adds another layer of complexity. Still, it's up to him to prove that he's not only worth the investment, but that he can sustain it.
Sustainability, man, that's the word. And hey, if Williams can stay in the lineup and, what did the article say? Dominate, he might just secure a win for himself in the Hornets. But it's a tightrope,
It definitely is. And with that, all eyes are on him in these final games. The Hornets have tough calls to make. It's, a high-stakes end to an unpredictable chapter for sure.
Man, Jose, talking about the unpredictability of these players' futures makes me think about the Wembanyama news. A blood clot in his shoulder? That's not just a speed bump. That's a roadblock for the Spurs this season. What are your thoughts here? Is his season really a wrap?
Unfortunately, Marcus, it does look that way. The diagnosis is serious, and, the treatment plan means he'll be sidelined at least 3 months. The Spurs are being cautious, as they should be, since we're talking about not only his career, but his long-term health. It echoes what we saw with Chris Bosh, doesn't it?
Exactly, and we all know how that turned out. Bosh, man, his career was never the same after the blood clots. I mean, it ended way too early. But what makes this different? Do we have, a better reason to hope here?
Well, the Spurs caught this early, which is crucial. Quick intervention means less chance of long-term complications. With modern medical advances and ongoing monitoring, there seems to be more optimism around Wembanyama. But you're right, Bosch's case is a stark reminder of how serious this condition can be.
Man, I hope the kid bounces back. Dude's a phenom, you know? Like, they don't make him like him every day. 7'4" with that kind of grace? Ridiculous. But the Spurs, how do they fill this massive hole he's leaving?
That's the dilemma. His absence reshuffles everything. The Spurs had high hopes for him as the centerpiece of their system, right? Now they need to rely on other players like De'Aaron Fox to pick up the slack. The coaching staff will likely realign their vision and focus more on player development for the rest of the season. It's about adjusting the sails when the wind changes direction.
Adjusting the sails, love that. But yo, let's talk about the fans for a second. Spurs Nation's got to be feeling this one. What's the vibe like there, Jose?
The vibe is mixed but leaning positive, actually. The Spurs community has a reputation for rallying behind their players, and with Wembanyama, it's no different. There's disappointment, of course, but it's paired with a strong sense of resilience. A lot of support messages are flooding social media. Go Spurs go and all that. It's inspiring to see how they're embracing the adversity alongside him.
Yeah, man, that's what makes this game so great. It's not just about wins and losses. It's about the stories, the people, the community. And you can see Spurs fans are like standing tall with him. I respect that, big time.
Absolutely. It's moments like these where the connection between players and fans truly shines. Wembanyama's recovery journey will likely become a rallying point for the whole organization. It's a testament to how adversity can unite a team and its supporters.
Couldn't agree more. And hey, if anyone can turn this into a comeback story for the books, it's Victor. I mean, his nickname's the Alien for a reason. Let's hope he channels some of that otherworldly resilience and comes back stronger than ever.
It's true, Marcus. Stories like Wembanyama's show resilience. But on the flip side, not every team's story this season is uplifting. Speaking of challenges, let's talk about the Hornets because, wow, what a season they're having, huh? They're rewriting history, but not in the way any franchise wants to. 3 straight losses by 35-plus points? That's unprecedented.
Yeah, man, it's brutal, like historically bad. And it's not just the margins, the whole vibe of the team feels off. You've got injuries piling up, LaMelo Ball struggling. It's like everything that could go wrong is, you know?
Exactly. Ball's recent numbers, 9 points on 17% shooting over the last 2 games and just 9% from distance. When your franchise player is putting up numbers like that, it's a major red flag. And with all these blowouts, it begs the question, is this team even trying anymore?
Trying, sure, but at what? That's the real question. Look, Jose, from where I'm sitting, it feels like they've got to lean into this tank. Embrace it. This could be their chance to snag someone like, say, Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey in the draft. Those kids are game changers.
True. Cooper Flagg's defensive potential alone could anchor a team for years. And Ace Bailey? A dynamic scoring talent. But tanking, it's not just about losing games, right? It's also about setting a direction for the future. The Hornets haven't been able to find that direction for years.
Exactly. And you know what? They wouldn't be the first team to hit the reset button hard. Remember when the 76ers fully embraced the process? It was ugly, real ugly, but they turned it around. Okay, maybe not into a championship yet, but they're competing at least.
Right. But let's not forget, the process was also heavily criticized for how long it took and the toll it took on fans. If the Hornets go that route, they need to commit fully, no half measures. That means focusing on player development, accumulating assets, and finding clarity in their rebuilding vision.
And you know what? They have some pieces to build on. Brandon Miller, for one, has shown flashes. Pair him with Ball, assuming Ball gets his mojo back, and maybe a top prospect. They're not as far off as it feels right now.
Fair, though that's a big if for Ball. His health and consistency are key. The Hornets also have to look at their leadership and culture. Historic losing streaks like these hint at problems that run deeper than injuries. Can this organization effectively build for the future?
Man, that's the million-dollar question. You know, there's a narrow window in this league. Either you're building upwards or spiraling downwards. The Hornets can't afford to stay stuck in mediocrity. They got to pick a lane, fast.
Exactly, Marcus. The next few months will be critical. Whether they embrace the rebuild or attempt another retooling around their current core, these decisions will define the franchise for years to come. The stakes couldn't be higher.
Absolutely. And listen, Jose, the beauty of this league is how quickly fortunes can change. One good draft pick, one bold move, and this mess of a season could be just another chapter in the Hornets' big comeback story.
Let's hope that's the case, because if they don't play their cards right, this could be the start of an extended stay in the NBA's basement. And on that note, let's leave it there for today. Marcus, as always, it's been a blast breaking it all down.
For sure, Jose. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. All right, everyone, keep watching, keep rooting for your squad, and we'll catch you next time on Swish Tell.